So what inspired your poem Ghana and Britain?
Basically, I started writing poetry back in last year, December, and coming up to the Ghana independence, March the 6th, I had a few poems out on my SoundCloud, and people were starting to say, the topics were repetitive, so, with a week to go for Ghana independence, I was thinking I could possibly write something for the Ghana, for the occasion, but I was thinking I'd only do it if I had, if it would do it justice, basically. So, I'll start trying to formulate a few lines in my head, and like one of the first lines I remember was, the kente line, talking about kente cloth, and I thought, kente cloth, cut from a different cloth, and that kind of sparked the whole poem, formulating more lines, and bearing in mind this was like 4 or 5 days to go to the actual Independence Day, and I wanted to get it uploaded by the date. Yeah. And yeah, just from there I just started writing, and it just came to how it was today.
So we're going into like spoken word.
Various factors and influences got me into spoken word. It all started when I watched 8 Mile, and that got me into rap battle. Yeah. And I started watching rap battles online, and it just really got to me, and it just made me want to start writing lyrics. And I was writing lyrics, but they had no purpose, no meaning, no structure, and I didn't think I could become a rapper because obviously the association you get with rapping didn't suit my kind of characteristics. And I remember that I did consider poetry, but I remembered how much I hated it back in like primary school and school and stuff like that. So I was never really leaning towards that. But as time went on, I kept writing, and I knew all my ideas were good. And I was just thinking, I had to get it out there somewhere in some shape or form. Then I came across George the Poet on YouTube, and I liked the way he did his spoken word, and I wasn't really aware of that. So for me, that kind of opened up the door. And then also just other experiences in my life kind of sparked that poetic nature within me, just like going through experiences, bad patches and stuff like that with people. So yeah, that's what got me into spoken word, really.
Alright, so as someone of Ghanaian descent, born and living in Britain, what do you think are the biggest misconceptions and stereotypes about Ghanaians and Africans in general?
From personal experience, the stereotypes of Ghanaians in particular seem to be good ones, actually. A lot of people seem to say we're like humble people, we're nice, peaceful people.
Very polite.
Yeah, very polite, and we just know how to be respectful to other people. But in terms of Africans in general, the stereotype seems to be quite negative. We seem to have a stereotype of being like poor, problematic, and just sometimes even intimidating, which isn't the case most of the time. I think we're very vibrant and very lively people, and we just, there's so much more to the African people and just culture in general. So yeah.
So how do you think the poem and the video of Ghana and Britain could help make people look at Ghanaians in a more open-minded and enlightened way?
I hope the poem would actually change people's misconceptions and stereotypes of like Ghanaians and Africans
in general, yeah.
And maybe even help Ghanaians and Africans themselves to like embrace their culture and not let it be something you want to tuck away and hide away, and not like embrace and show to the rest of the world,
Yeah.
And let people know what your country is really about. Let people know what Africa is about, and black people are about. So that's how I feel the poem will change people's misconceptions.
For us, being affluent isn't a mystery, because it's always been a part of our history. We had gold between the rivers of Ancobra and the Volta before it was snatched up by the foreign vultures. So please tell me why I would be ashamed of our culture.
So what do you love most about your African culture and your Ghanaian heritage?
I would say my favourite thing about our culture is definitely the language. Like everything sounds so much funnier in Twi. Like it's just it's very funny. I'm sure all my friends would agree. And like our food as well. Like in the poem I mentioned quite a lot of the dishes that we tend to eat. And
So what's your favourite dish?
Rice bowls with palm nut soup.
Okay.
And maybe fried yam and moko. Moko is like pepper.
Yeah. Okay.
Red pepper. Yeah, and wache when I had it back in Ghana. Yeah, definitely. Those are my favourite dishes. And also like just our like attire, colourful African attire. You know, that's very lively and catches the eye. And you know, obviously the rich history and past that we have. You know, not a lot of people know that. You know, we were once called the Gold Coast because obviously we had gold, and you know we have other useful resources in our country. So that's what I love about our culture, that we've come from, or we do come from, a very rich place.
So your video for Ghana and Britain was released during Black History Month here in the UK.
Yeah.
How important do you think it is in terms of raising awareness on Ghanaian as well as African culture and history?
Personally, I think Black History Month is important. You know, it gives us a chance to showcase what we're about and let the world know, because obviously throughout the rest of the year, we don't really get a chance to do that. We don't get a chance to be vocal, and it's not something that's brought up in school too often. You know, it's not treated the same way as other historical things that we learn about. And you know, I do get the whole debate about why should our history be contained to 1 month. And you know, it's almost like we have a curfew on our history. You know, it can only stay up for a certain
1 out of 12.
Yeah. So you know, yeah, I do understand that side, but at the same time, you know, if we didn't have that month, then how much more would our history be brushed under the carpet? How much more ignorant would other people be? You know, how much less would we know if we didn't have that month to kind of learn about it and stuff? And like, I do agree that it should be treated as you know, general history, and it should be taught in schools in the right way, not the way that it is taught. And but yeah, no, I do think Black history is very important and gives the chance to showcase what we're really about.
It doesn't even matter if you're a minor, because respecting our culture is major, so you're expected to be serving the guests as if you were a waiter. You'll be asked about your education just to ensure you won't be in the position they were facing back in the homeland, where they might have ended up working for peanuts and kelewele, anything to put food on the plate, even if it meant working till late.
So what Ghanaian man or woman in history has inspired you the most, and why?
There's only really two. The first one is probably the most obvious one, is Kwame Nkrumah.
Yeah. And
what he did for Ghana in terms of bringing independence to our country, and you know, fighting for that. You know, he really went through a long battle to do that, and you know, obviously his vision for Ghana and Africa in general. You know, he wasn't just focused on his country; he was focused on the
in Africa.
Yeah, he was focused on the bigger picture. He wanted more for Africa and not just Ghana, which I feel is a very good attitude to have. You know, we need a lot more people like that today to have that kind of attitude, not just think about themselves and the ones closest to them. You know, we need to think about the bigger picture, and that's what Kwame Nkrumah did. And so that inspires me a lot to kind of, you know, do a lot more for people, not just around me, but you know, see a bigger picture, general picture for Africa and black people and people in general. You know, it's not just about black people; it's just about everyone getting a good share of life. And the other one is actually my granddad. He was an MP in Kwame Nkrumah's regime. Yeah, he was an MP for New Jabin, which is in Koforidua, and that's in like the eastern region of Ghana. And you know, he was a bit of a philanthropist. He helped support people in education. Like if he saw a child wandering in the street, you know, he would ask them, you know, why are you not in school?
Yeah.
You know, and he would pay their school fees and stuff. And when it came to Christmas, he would make sure people around him and in his village had food to eat, and made sure, you know, he cooked for them and stuff like that. And he also brought services to his like hometown, like schools, electricity, libraries and stuff like that. So he did a lot for other people, and you know, he had the same name as me as well. So that makes me feel like I have a burden to kind of live up to his standards. And you know, he's very popular in his hometown. So my name is quite well known in New Japan. Yeah. So those are the main two people in Ghana history that inspire me.
Okay. So could you ever see yourself living in Ghana full time?
Yeah, I could.
Yeah.
I could, especially when it comes to retirement. Yeah.
All right.
It's a very relaxing environment, and you know, at the moment it's developing quite well. So yeah, I think no problem. I could live in Ghana. But obviously, I have my own personal ambitions and stuff to do here, and you know, in other places as well. But yeah, no, I could fully live in Ghana.
So in terms of you as a spoken word artist, what can people expect from you in the future?
They can certainly expect more videos.
Yeah.
A lot of my material is currently on SoundCloud and not in visual form.
Yeah.
And you know.
So what is your SoundCloud?
My SoundCloud is MOAK_TP. So MOK_TP.
Alright.
Yeah, I only use SoundCloud as a basis to gather people's opinions about my poetry, because I thought I wasn't ready for videos, but now, after doing the Ghana in Britain video, I see how much it helps get my poetry out there. So yeah, you can certainly expect more videos to do with my poetry, and just general creative stuff with poetry that I don't think a lot of people have done before. Yeah. So you'll be seeing like
something different.
Something different, yeah, bringing something different to the table, just mixing poetry with other, you know, just other things that you wouldn't kind of associate poetry with. So that's what I'll be doing. But I'm not going to say what exactly.
Keep it a surprise.
Yeah.
Alright then.